Keeping our scalp and curls clean and buildup free while simultaneously maintaining their moisture and manageability is a priority of every natural out there, especially those looking to maximize their current health and growth. And while this may be a slightly difficult task for you, depending on the variables of your natural hair journey, all in all, the average healthy hair owner can usually preserve a decent amount of balance between these two during their wash day processes. But of course, we all have our own different issues we have to contend with, even on the smoothest of wash days, whether it be the common technical concern of speeding up the whole thing, or the more practical one of determining the best way to moisturize and style afterwards that's all things cute, manageable, and timely. When you're dealing with color-treated hair though, things can get a bit more dicey as you have many more issues to concern yourself with, and if you're not careful, that dicey can quickly turn into disaster, leaving your curls dry, damaged, and devastated. That's why in this video, we're going to be covering 5 tips that you can use on even your worst wash days to help maintain the must of natural hair equilibrium and keep you and your curls sane in the process. So, without further ado, let's get into this video.
College girls, college girls.
Starting us off with tip number 1, you absolutely, positively must have a good detangling tool. Depending on your hair characteristics, the severity of your damage, and or your personal preference, anything from a wide tooth comb, Denman brush, your handy dandy phalanges, or the vast array of detangling brushes out there should do the trick. My personal fave though, and the one I recommend above all others, especially for tighter and denser curl patterns, is the EZ Detangler Flex Brush. This brush has the added advantage of being flexible as well as durable, which is a great combination when dealing with the more fragile, easily knotted strands of color-damaged hair. Add in the fact that this tool usually drastically decreases the time needed for the detangling process overall, and you have a very solid option on your hands, whether your hair is color-treated or not. Should you prefer one of the other detanglers though, that's perfectly fine, just as long as it's durable enough to handle the work you need it to do without providing so much tension that it rips your hair out in the process. Now, besides the tool you use, the actual technique by which you detangle is going to matter just as much. And that leads us to our second important wash day tip. You definitely want to pre-poo too. For better moisture and manageability for color-treated hair, pre-pooing before your wash day really gets started is going to be imperative to help prevent high growth fatigue from occurring in your extremely raised cuticles. For reference, high growth fatigue is a phenomenon where water and moisture quickly and repeatedly enter and exit your strand, causing it to constantly shrink and swell, resulting in damage to your cuticle that causes extreme dryness, frizziness, breakage, basically worsening the issues you're already experiencing and causing new ones. This can happen to hair of any porosity level, but high porosity hair is most susceptible because its cuticles are so open. And hair that's high porosity, because it's damaged, is even more susceptible because its cuticles are raised even more and likely have gaps. And with the gallons of water your hair is exposed to throughout a wash day, you can just imagine the kind of damage that could potentially occur. Pre-pooing, specifically with an oil, is the best method to prevent this from occurring because the lipids in oils help to fill the gaps in your strand as they mesh well with the lipids that structure your cuticle. This way, your strands are temporarily fortified against any moisture being able to repeatedly enter in and escape out, which means less tangling and breakage all wash day long, and it lessens the chance of even more damage occurring. If you're dealing with hair that is severely color damaged, so it's always knotting, tangling, frizzy, etc., then it'd be ideal for you to pre-poo any and every time before your hair comes into contact with any sort of water, whether you're shampooing, co-washing, or just water rinsing. This is because the issues you're already experiencing indicate your extremely high porosity and at the highest risk to experience high growth fatigue. If your damage isn't so severe, it would still be in your best interest to pre-poo as often as possible to prevent your condition from getting worse, but you may be able to get away with not having to do it as often. As far as detangling goes, depending on what works best for your curls, you can do it either just with the pre-poo in your hair, or you can try to do so with your hair running under a light amount of water with the pre-poo in as well for increased ease. If you do choose to use running water to aid you though, be sure your hair is thoroughly coated in your pre-poo, it's not too damaged already, and you get the job done as quickly as possible. Now, once you've pre-pooed, detangled, and actually got your wash day going, tip number 3 is going to reinforce your prevention of the hydro fatigue that we talked about in tip number 2 by stressing that you do not stand with your hair under the shower head or otherwise have your curls consistently come in contact with water throughout the wash day unnecessarily. Like we touched on earlier, assuming you wash your hair in the shower, it has the potential to come into contact with gallons upon gallons of water during the course of a full wash day. And even if you don't shampoo in the shower, it's still easy to allow our curls more access to water than is truly necessary. When dealing with low or normal porosity hair, this usually isn't too much of an issue, seeing as how these cuticles lay flatter against the shaft of the hair, preventing so much water from entering the strand. But when it comes to high porosity hair, whether this is your natural porosity or it's due to damage, you absolutely want to take more heed to this, as it's the easiest way for hydro fatigue to occur. Luckily, this tip is an easy one to follow, as you'll simply keep your hair away from water when you don't need to actively use it. Add to that you being sure to pre-poo beforehand, and those will be 2 of your strongest defenses to preventing damage throughout your wash day. Moving on to tip number 4, it's going to be crucial that you include regular protein treatments followed by deep conditioning in your shampoo process. For more in-depth info on what these products are, how to use them, and their role in healthy hair care, be sure to watch these 2 videos. But when it specifically comes to color damaged hair, no matter how severe the damage is, frequent protein treatments are an absolute must. Being that the main reason you're experiencing all the issues you are is due to the protein in your hair being damaged from the coloring process, it only makes sense that a treatment all about restoring and strengthening that very element be the main event of your wash days. If you're dealing with severe damage, you'll want to look into reconstructor treatments, which are some of the strongest protein treatments out there. And if your damage is on the lighter side, really any general one should work for you as long as it's compatible with the characteristics of your hair. Once you've chosen the protein treatment that's right for you, you'll need to then determine just how frequent your treatments need to be. Of course, the more damage you have, the more often they should be done, and vice versa. But when it comes to actually figuring out a timeline for making a routine, including this process, you should watch my free training, How to Make Natural Hair Grow. In this training, I go over exactly how to include necessary practices like protein treatments into your routine, how to make a schedule for it that fits your lifestyle, and how to learn what your hair characteristics are beyond just knowing that your hair is damaged, and so much more. The link to join will be popping up in the card now and linked in the description box below. Now, just as important as the protein treatment itself is making sure you follow up right after with a deep conditioning treatment. Because of the nature of protein treatments, they are naturally pretty drying. So it's going to be crucial that you don't skip the deep conditioning step because your curls will be even more thirsty for moisture now than they were before. Regardless of whether you have a wash day where you perform a protein treatment or not though, it's always going to be a good idea for you to include deep conditioning somewhere in your process, even if it's a day that you just deep condition and don't do much else, since damaged high porosity hair is usually on the drier side. Finishing up with our final tip, tip number 5, use oils and hot oil treatments. Remember way back in tip 2 when we talked about pre-pooing being so great to do because the lipid content in oils mesh well with the lipids that structure our cuticles? Well, that's the same idea that's being put to work in this tip. Because of this lipid compatibility and the good penetrating heat involved in hot oiling, these treatments are going to be perfect to help temporarily smooth high porosity cuticles, providing relief from issues like frizz and excessive tangling, while also being a great way to add some shine and retain moisture. If you're not sure exactly what a hot oil treatment is, or want to see exactly how one is done, be sure to check out this animated explainer one here on YouTube and the processed one over on Patreon. Adding in oils as a part of your regular routine will generally have the same overall effect, plus the added bonus of being an option to seal your moisture in should you choose a heavier one. Now, if you're a natural who's having the hardest time dealing with your color damage on wash days and every day, and you feel like you have no idea where to start to fix it, think you've tried everything, or are too lazy or busy to spend hours on your hair every day, then I want to invite you to join my one-on-one coaching program, Want Healthy Hair Just Ask, that's now being offered through the Doctorates tier on Patreon. With this program, I have helped dozens of naturals dealing with all sorts of hair health issues learn and care for their hair characteristics both while working with me and for the remainder of their natural hair journey. From product recommendations and Zoom calls to personalized plans and tech support, along with premium resources designed to promote understanding and results with your curls, you will be completely supported throughout our time working together and become more confident in yourself and your curls because of it. The link to enroll will be popping up in a card now and linked in the description box below. Even if this program doesn't sound like it's for you, but you're still looking to better care for your curls and support your favorite animated natural hair channel in the process, be sure to check out the official College Curls community over on Patreon. On Patreon, you'll discover a whole host of hair helping benefits, including live natural hair lessons, Q&As, natural hair trivia, my hair growth ebook, worksheets, and so much more starting at just $5 a month. The tiers go from associates to doctorates, with each level getting better and better. So no matter what condition your curls are in, there's something there just for you. Again, that link will be popping up now and be linked in the description box below. And now I want to hear from you. What's been your biggest struggle when washing your color-treated hair? Have you found anything that helps? If not, what have you tried? Leave your answers, tips, and tricks in the comment box below, and I'll respond to as many of you as I can. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that like button if you liked it. Hit it even if you didn't. Leave a comment down in the comment box below, and make sure you subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
College Curls.